Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for e-Gurukula sessions. And today is a Tuesday. We have there is a story sessions. So regularly reading and discussing is very important because that is a food for our intelligence. For mind, it is chanting. By chanting mantras, mind gets purified. And intelligence can become stout and stronger when we read about the scriptures, when we get the wisdom from the scriptures. That is a food for the intelligence. And that's what it will help us to decide what is right, what is wrong, and how to make a right decisions. And so that's why it's important regularly here. Hearing is the earring, which we should always keep wearing. So thank you for joining regularly for these meetings and programs and having this discussion. So let us begin with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahavana Rugnathan Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devi Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahavana Yanta Shri Shakhantam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Vritvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sadigaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let us start reading our Mahabharata. Any idea where we had stopped? Remember? This is an entry question. What was going on?
It's like they escaped through the tunnel, Bhima lighting the wax house.
Very nice. Sharp. So let us read now. So who set the house on the fire? Who has set the house on the fire?
Bhima.
Means they themselves only, right? It's not that they waited for somebody. Because this is smart, na? They can go themselves and then no need to wait for the things to come. And unfortunately, or whatever they say, that time there was one tribal lady along with her 5 sons. And nobody was knowing that they are there. So that's what now the things are going to get revealed. So now they escape from the tunnel. So yeah, here is, you're able to see the screen. Is it visible? Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So only Vidur did not lament, as he knew the truth. But still he did not speak about it to anyone. He knew he could not risk telling even Bhishma, who was always loyal to the king and Hastinapur. Let's read now. The Pandavas and the Kunti emerged from their tunnel some distance from Varnavat. As their eyes became accustomed to the darkness, they proceeded in the direction they had already charted. They were tired and afraid, and they found it difficult to hurry. Seeing this, the tireless Bhima lifted them all unto his vast frame. Acha. Anyone remember any other scene where somebody lifted somebody on the shoulders or on the vast frame? Like here, Bhima has lifted all of them on his vast frame. Huh? Any other scene where somebody has lifted someone? Bharat Maharaj, whom he lifted? Or somebody lifted Bharat Maharaj? Who? What episode though?
Bharat Maharaj, like, he lifted someone.
Which Bharat Maharaj? Ramayana or Bhagavatam?
The Bhagavatam, Prabhuji.
Bhagavatam, Bharat Maharaj lifted deer only, I think, because that's what he.
So that King Prabhuji.
Oh, that was a palanquin. Yeah. But it was not here, shoulder especially. Of course, yeah, that way, okay. Rahugana, King Rahugana. I was remembering from Ramayana. Somebody lifted on the shoulders and carried on. That's a Hanuman, no? Hanuman lifted Ram and Lakshman. For what reason he had lifted? There's a famous picture, no? They show. So I think some incident was there. I also missed out. But anyway, here we get to read that Bhima also lifted all of them. To everyone's astonishment, he placed his mother on his shoulders, the twins on his two sides, and Yudhishthira and Arjuna on each arm. Then ran through the forest, knocking down trees and trending down bushes and brambles. What a heroic stunt it is. So that's Express, Bhima Express. Yeah. At dawn, they arrived at the Ganges, where another of the Vidura's emissaries met them. This man was sitting in a boat, and he called out to the Pandavas as they stood measuring the depth of the river with a stone tied to a creeper. Startled, the brothers looked around. Yudhishthira approached the man in the boat, who told them that he been told by Vidur to wait there for them. He had been there every night for months, carefully watching for the signs of the brothers. So this is the meaning of Shudras. Huh? They are very, very loyal. This is interesting, no? You observe? Like, who will work for such thing, no? Okay, Vidur told you, go wait on the boat. He said, okay, let them call, then I will go. Why shall I go and wait? But every day night, he was waiting when the brothers comes or things and also such a loyal service. Otherwise, he would have released the secret also to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhanas and things. No? The man assured Yudhishthira of his credentials by repeating to him the conversation the prince had with Vidur in the Mlecha tongue. So that's coding remembered. Explained that he had come to ferry them across the river and help them on their way. The man said, Vidur has sent him his embrace and said that he will surely be victorious over your enemies. He said that you should remain always alert and depend upon the Lord, by whose arrangement auspiciousness will always attend you. Get into this boat quickly, and I shall take you far from here. So, Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is guaranteed for Pandavas because of dependence on the Lord. So in our life also many things looks very tough. But Lord sends time to time the messengers and the well-wishers and the support for us. So we should not get shaken up. We should have a faith. Lord personally may not be there all the time. As such, he is there all the time. As a super soul, he is right there with us. Otherwise, nothing. But then he arranges also many means by which we can connect to him, receive his love and care for in our lives. So Pandava's life, Vidurji became the messenger, the well-wisher for them to be. Propelled by an engine and sails, the boat moved swiftly through the flowing river toward the south. The Pandavas journeyed for some hours and were finally set down on the opposite bank near a broad path leading into the woods. The boatman wished them success and departed, taking with him a message of thanks for Vidur. So the boatman dropped them across the Ganges, and then he received the message of thanks when he went for delivery to Vidur. The brothers continued south. They soon entered a dense forest. Feeling tired and hungry, they sat down. Yudhishthir said in an anguished voice, "What could be more painful? Here we're lost in some deep and fearful forest. We do not know if the sinful Purochan has somehow survived and informed Duryodhana of our escape. What dangers lay ahead for us now?" So Yudhishthir Maharaj is worried now. Kunti was exhausted and could walk no further. She sat on a tree root, glancing around fearfully. Her sons searched about for a way to go deeper into the jungle. It appeared virtually impregnable, with its huge trees and bushes enmeshed with a tight network of creepers. The cries of the birds, shoo, some sound and all that in the forest. No, just imagine how it happened. Nowadays, in the movies, they show that just animation. It's not a fact, but this is the real scene. And deep into the jungles, across the rivers, far away, and don't know also know where to get a food or things. The cries of the birds and animals filled the air. Yudhishthir gazed into the forest and said to Bhim, "O mighty son of Vayu, you must again carry us into these dreadful woods. I can see no other way for us to continue." So Bhima Express continued. Bhima was huge, massive. Bhima bowed his head in respect to his elder brother. Once again, he placed his mother and four brothers on his powerful body. When they were all holding on tightly, he ran straight into the forest. He bounded high into the air and broke trees with his feet, clearing a path as he progressed. Tall, flowering trees fell on all sides with a great cracking sounds, sending up showers of blossoms. Forest animals fled in all directions as the prince crashed through the woods. He seemed like an angry elephant king charging through the jungle. So swift was his movement that Kunti and her son almost fainted. Right? Sometimes we sit in a fairy wheel, na? So soft, so fast. Sometimes in a normal vehicle only somebody drives very fast. So Bhima is walking in once, but his walking was like a express train. Still carrying the five of them, Bhima also swam the streams and lake that crossed his path. So all goes to Bhima. An evening fell, they stopped for the night under the shelter of a large banyan tree. Bhima set down his mother and brothers, and they fell to the ground, overwhelmed by fatigue, hunger, and thirst. Kunti asked Bhim to bring her some water. He replied, "I hear the sweet singing of waterfall not far from here. Undoubtedly, there is a lake nearby." And the unflinching Bhima. What is the meaning? Unflinching means? Anyone? Unflinching means maybe tired, not tired. Eh? He went to at once toward the sound and soon found the lake. After bathing and drinking deeply, he soaked his upper garment and went back to the banyan tree. But by the time he returned, his mothers and brothers had fallen into a deep sleep. Yeah. Seeing them lying on the bare ground, yes, Prabhu, Joshit Prabhu?
Persistent, Prabhuji.
Persistent, okay, yeah.
Or is like not tired, like
Not tired, not giving up.
Untiring, tireless.
Yeah. Thank you. Seeing them lying on the bare ground, Bhima lamented to himself, "What more painful sight could there be? Here are my five brothers who could not even sleep in Varnavat on the costliest of beds, sleeping now on the cold earth. My gentle mother, as delicate and resplendent as the filament of the lotus flower, lies exhausted on the hard forest floor." So their Varna, but why they were not able to sleep on a finest bed, costliest bed? Why they were not able to sleep?
Because it's not the right time to like to fight with Duryodhana because they have more wealth, more support, more allies.
That
That they
yeah,
waiting
that
for.
yeah, that time there might be the fire set at any time. So they were on guard. Anybody will burn the house anytime or things. So and now here in the jungle, but there is no sufficient. It's exhausted, slept. Bhima wrung his hands in anguish and frustration. If only the Kauravas were present before him now, they would regret their treachery. It was only by the grace of God that Yudhishthira did not command him to kill them all. So Bhim looked at his sleeping elder brother. Surely he deserved to rule the entire earth. He never abandoned virtue or gave way to anger. Only because of this were the Kauravas still alive. So Bhima is thinking greatness of his brother. What a brother is he? He deserved to be the ruling the earth. Bhima sighed and looked around. They had traveled many miles through the forest. Perhaps there was a town or a village not far away. He would remain awake, guarding his brothers, and in the morning they could continue. The prince sat on a root of the banyan tree, with his mind and senses alert to danger. Now, what is going to happen? Are you frightened? No, no. Shall we read? Continue. Yeah. Not far from where the brothers had stopped was a massive sal tree on which lived a Rakshasa named Hidimba. Hidimba. He had slept through the day and was just awakening as the panda was falling asleep. What did you understand from this? He had slept through the day and was just awakening as the Pandavas were falling asleep.
The Rakshasas hunt at the night.
Rakshasas?
Hunt at the night.
What? Sorry. What word you are saying? Rakshasas? Anti?
They look for food at night.
Okay. They're awake in the night. They sleep in the daytime. That is a Rakshasa mentality. That's why Krishna says, na, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutana Tasyam Jagrati Sayam. Exactly opposite. So they go night and yawning and stretching his enormous arms, he sniffed the night air. At once he detected the scent of humans nearby. He sat up quickly and called out to his sister, who lived on the same tree, Hidimbi. So there the Rakshasas smell, na? They got a smell of the humans. Rakshasas have one particular body, humans. Wake up! I smell human flesh. It has been a long time since we tasted our favorite food. My mouth is already watering. Quickly find the humans and after killing them, bring them here. Tearing their necks with my long fangs, I shall quaff their hot foaming blood. Both of us shall eat our fill and then dance happily. Like that they make sound after dialogues. So Hidimba and Hidimbi, brothers and sisters, they're there. The Rakshasa woman shook her long orange hair and opened her blood red eyes. She cackled and looked at the long claws protruding from her black fingers. Hidimbi and her brother had often slain and eaten helpless travelers. Swinging down from the branch, she went silently through the trees, following the saint. In a few minutes, she arrived at the spot where the Pandavas lay. The Rakshasi saw the invincible Bhim seated nearby. As soon as her eyes fell upon him, her heart was moved by desire. The prince looked like a god. His skin was the color of molten gold. His shoulders resembled those of a lion. His neck resembled the conch, and his eyes were like large lotus petals. So she found some kind of a hero. Hidimbi decided immediately that he should be her husband. If she killed him, she and her brother would enjoy the brief pleasure of eating his flesh. But if she united with him, her pleasure would be far greater. Deciding to ignore her brother's order, Hidimbi assumed the form of a beautiful woman. Just who, which other Rakshasi who changed her form and assume a beautiful woman, form of a beautiful woman?
Putana Prabhuji.
Putana, Putana Mataji. Yeah, Putana, yeah, correct. Decorated with the celestial ornaments and clothed in a crimson silks, she walked slowly up to Bhim. With a bashful smile, she said, "O best of men, who are you, and what brings you to this dark and dangerous forest? Who are these godlike men lying on the ground? And who is that woman of transcendent beauty lying with them?" Bhim looked at her in surprise. Was she the forest deity? What was such a beautiful woman doing alone at night in such a place? He listened carefully as Hidimbi continued. "This forest belongs to my brother Hidimba, a powerful man-eating Rakshasa. With the intention of eating your flesh, he sent me here to kill you." She raised her hand as Bhima suddenly stood up. "Do not fear. I have been smitten with the desire upon seeing you, who are as handsome as God. Please accept me as your wife, for I am being victimized by Cupid's shafts." Hidimbi told Bhim that she would save him from her brother. She would carry him through the sky and far away from Hidimba. Then they could enjoy together in a celestial mountain region. Like Bhima was a hero, na? So powerful, mighty. He brought all four brothers and his mother on his body. So it's not ordinary. And then Rakshasas, they are more bodily conscious. So see, that lady, she did not bother also whether he's a good man or a bad man. Just looking at the body, she got attracted. So just like a Putana, everybody got attracted when Putana changed form. So of course, Brajavasis were not bodily conscious. They were thinking Krishna will get the blessings. So they wanted the good for Krishna. But here she got attracted to him. So to the degree we are more bodily conscious, to that degree we'll have this mentality of enjoying bodily pleasures, which is full of illusion only. Today here, gone tomorrow. It leads only entanglement. It doesn't give enlightenment. So that's why she became mad after Bhim. Bhim sat down again. He shook his head. "O Rakshasi, how do you expect me to abandon my sleeping mother and brother simply to gratify my lust?" See, this is called as working with intelligence. Bhim is not simply become a slave of his, what do you call it, the offer given by the lady, right? So responsibility. Whereas modern men, they sell themselves off. They don't bother also, even though they are having a married relationships and all, but still, because of the lust, because of the uncontrollable mind and senses, so much nuisance they create in the society. But Bhim is such a wise response. He is a controlled. Hidimbi looked down at the sleeping Pandavas and Kunti. "Wake them up. I shall carry you all away from this place." Bhim shook his head again. "I shall not wake my mother and brothers out of fear of any Rakshasa. There is no Rakshasa, Yaksha, or Gandharva able to withstand my strength. Oh, beautiful shape lady, you may stay or go as you please. Or if you like, you may send your man-eating brother to me." So this is the duty platform. He is straight. He said, "You cannot disturb them. Let them rest. And I will not do anything just because of fear. You whether be Rakshasa, Yaksha, Gandharva, whoever he may be." Right. So this is a service. This is a responsibility. So he said, "Okay, you want to marry me, you be here. Or otherwise, if you want to leave, leave. Or third option, if you want, send your brother to me." I am not going to leave my brothers and things like that. As they were speaking together, Hidimba was becoming impatient. Where was his foolish sister? Why had she not returned? The Rakshas jumped down from his tree and moved toward the human Sept. Hidimbi sensed her brother's approach, and she became alarmed. She pleaded with him, "Please do not argue with me. My brother is coming. Do not tarry here." What is the meaning of tarry? Do not tarry here and become his meal. Tarry means argue or deal. What is tarry means? Wake up the others and allow me to rescue all of you. Bhim simply smiled. This cannibal presents no problem to me. Indeed, I shall kill him here before your eyes. Do not consider me an ordinary human being. My 2 arms are like the trunks of the mighty elephants. Yeah, what is the meaning?
So it's like Tari meaning is like the tree Prabhuji. It's like to irritate or like provoke.
Okay, okay.
And
Do not cause provocation here.
or continue to remain in place or like to wait or like to
Mhm.
wait.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and my thighs resemble iron clubs. My prowess is no less than Indra himself. I fear nothing. Hidimbi was still doubtful. She had seen the Rakshasa giants prove their superiority over men on many occasions. Hidimbi was doubtful. Yeah. They were more on a level with the celestial than with the humans. It was a rare human who could overpower a Rakshasa. So Bhim looked over Hidimbi's shoulder and saw her brother approaching. He was as dark as a rain cloud, and he had hideous features. His ears were shaped like arrows, and the shock of red hair on his head stood erect. His powerful body, clad in a lion cloth, was covered in the wiry red hair. The Rakshasa was as tall as a tree and had broad shoulders. His arms, thick like tree trunks, reached down to his knees. His huge mouth was open, revealing rows of fearful fangs. He opened his crimson eyes in a surprise as he saw his sister standing in a human form next to him. Seeing her so beautifully bedecked with the celestial ornaments, Hidimba immediately understood that she had become lustful toward the human. And then he spoke angrily. Who is so foolish as to create obstacle for me when I am hungry? Oh sister, have you become so senseless that you do not fear my anger? Fie upon you, O unjust woman! Simply out of lust, you are ready to do me an injury and sacrifice the very honor of our race. I shall kill you along with these humans. So here you find the contrast, no? The she is a selfish because she wanted to enjoy Bhim, and she is not going to serve her brother. And now Hidimba came and he became selfish because he saw that his sister did not fulfill the desire what he wanted. So this is a problem. Everybody becomes selfish, then it's a mess only, isn't it? Whereas we find Bhima's character is so great. Bhima is not dropping his service off. Bhima is continuing. Boss on a boss. Yeah. So pressing his teeth together, Hidimba ran at his sister with his arm raised. Bhim stood up at once and stepped forward. His voice boomed out, "Stop! How dare you awaken my peacefully sleeping brothers? Nor should you attack this innocent woman. O wicked minded one, your sister is not in control of herself. She has been brought under Cupid's control. Therefore, she could not be punished." So, now what the dialogue goes and what happens, the conversation between the two, that surprise we'll read in the next meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's what we saw, how interestingly everybody, the godly people are so, what do you call, the loyal and the responsible. Whereas demoniac people, they're selfish. They get carried away by the sense pleasures. So today's exit question is very simple. Now just recall the characters we read in today's topic. Which all characters we came through in today's discussion? Especially the dialogues, the conversations. Purochan was just mentioned. His dialogues were not there. Yeah. Conversations happened between whom all? Today we read many things, no? Yeah. Yeah. The later conversation we are seeing here, Hidimba and Hidimbi, then Hidimbi and Bhim, then Bhim and Hidamba. Yeah, but the before Yudhishthir Maharaj with Bhim, and then the before that also the boatman, the Vidura's helper. Vidura has sent a help for the Pandavas, no? So boatman, he came to take them away, to cross over the river. And what was that river name they reached upon? What was the river name they reached upon?
Ganges.
Ganges. That was a discussion we did, yeah. So interesting. So very, very graphic descriptions, and we got to see the insight. Now, how Bhima is going to respond, how the fight goes, and how further the Pandava journey happens from here to ahead further, and how they meet back again or things. That's a suspense we'll read in the next week. Thank you all very much for joining with all of your active participation. Let us end with a Vaishnava pranam. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटिवैष्णववृन्द की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू।